Hello again. You are listening to Clarity's Process Podcast. I'm Robert.
I'm Suzanne.
And we're Clarity. And thank you for joining us again. We've now gotten some of the podcasts onto our Situla Codex website. The tab you'll see up near the top literally says Clarity Process Podcast. And we have, I think, 3 or 4 of them there now. We'll keep adding to them, and we'll be able to get the link out in social media. So thank you for joining us. We're in process really all the time. Each day is a process.
We are artists and writers, and we have been together as husband and wife and worked together for 36 years.
Yeah, 36 years.
We work on the same body of work together at the same time.
That's part of our practice.
Part of our practice, we work on the same piece together at the same time. We work with the same ideas together and developing bodies of work at the same time.
And it comes out of our conversations that we have daily. Conversations we have when we wake up, conversations we have when we are ready to go to sleep, and conversations throughout the day, all adding up to a completion of ideas and what we want to express and ways of expressing it, and whether we want to put it into a podcast like this right now, today. Other times it'll be writing for flip books. And also when we paint. Each one of these are the differing expressions of creativity.
And our flip books are not only words, but they're image. We always work with the partnership of image and word, just like our partnership at the same time.
Yeah, we don't abandon the imagery for the words, because then what we have found is that you move more into the knowing aspect, and you've left behind some of the feeling aspects. So when you keep them together, then you have a greater balance of being able to assimilate.
Because if you
eat more easily,
it's the percentages. If you know about something more and you can feel it, then you can't ever move it into the next level of recognizing it and actually developing it further, because you're stuck at that inequality. But if you catch them up with each other, it's just like the male can't go forward without the female very far, because he needs that support of the balance of what she is. And the female can't go very far without the support of the male to balance it. But our society tries to live that way. And so when we embodied our work and started, we knew that we were about that balance, and we were about finding ways to accomplish that balance. So we began with working on the same piece at the same time, the drawing and painting, until the piece was finished, and the conversation and the livingness of it.
Yeah, we really have lived through all of our artwork. It's been, as they come forward, they are the gathering of the days prior, or the musing. Being able to have time to muse is essential. We know that is part of a real healing balance for us, is to have the time of musing, so that what that does is it helps you feel it within your body, and that is what is called embodiment. You take in the ideas, and you sit with them, and you feel them, and you smell them, and you taste them, and they're part of the meal you have that day and the conversation that goes with it.
Then you become your consciousness instead of just talking about it.
Yeah. And that shows up in the work, because we were listening to another artist. I remember he was talking about that it shows up in the work. It's felt in the work. That when someone looks at a piece, if it's just something that's surface, then that is what's felt. But if there's a depth to it, because that's how the expression came about, then that's why some art feels different than others. Not just the shapes and the colors and the subject matter, but there's something more inside there.
So all our work is, no matter what it is built for balance. We make sure that we both are present for it, and that we have the give and take and flow that's needed in our daily life to actually create in that way. And it's really, really very joyful for us.
Yeah, when you, to those creatives that are listening to this Process podcast, one of the distinct advantages of working with someone, well, especially us, for us, kind of the twin flame soulmate connection is so strong that as we're working, that feeds us even more, because we're gaining the insights and the conversation that we're beginning to see unfold in front of us as we are working with it. But for individual creatives that aren't working in that manner, still to be able to have time to give to yourself so that you feel the information that you are working with, and as you have a conversation with it, and then you express that conversation onto the canvas or the sculpture or the mixed media object, then that creative expression goes much, much further and feeds you much, much deeper.
And the commitment that it takes has been from the very beginning. We started out with our connection, but also we had friends with us that wanted that kind of either connection with someone else or connection with themselves. And so they became a supporting community for us as we moved through the years, dedicating most of our time to the work. It works really well at time, most of the time, but lots of times you have, like, we've had different size groups of people that were supporting us, but for the longest time we've had 5, and there's 5 of us, and it's wonderful. At the same time, they're having to take it in and become the work after we take it in and bring it into a consciousness that can be seen and imprinted and heard, and then they have to take it in as real into their consciousness and their life. And so it's almost like a catch-up thing that we will work with that, and then it's moved over and shared, and they're present as when we're inside of that and outside of it. And then the next process, they have to take it in, and then they have to become a being that maybe they aren't, a being that is more dedicated to making sure you get it than they've ever been. And there's a lot to move through to be able to share that part of yourself and take it in and become it so much that you're ready to see it in others, and you're ready to hear it in others and share it in others. And so it's really, it's how do you create ways where not only we can have it, but how do we make it into other accessible vehicles, like making them into books, or making them into cards, or making it into a video, or making it into whole bodies of work, or conversations like we're having now, or podcasts. That's all the different ways that we've had to all look at and try to become available to that. And it's not just Robert and I, it's all 5 of us that have to come to that point of reference. And 5 has changed. And so you could do bodies of work that you could just take in yourself and become, but because you came here for another reason, to make a difference, we have to go through the difference. And that's the distance.
That is the distance. And I like that because if you think about, there's a, okay, if you imagine you as a creative are standing there in front of your canvas on an easel or flat on a table, the distance between you and that surface is one set of distances. But the distance between the idea that is being formulated through your musing and the idea that you're feeling within you, that is wanting to be expressed, is another kind of distance. And then to get those two distances to braid in and weave together is the practice. That's the work that you put in to share with other people. And it's hoped that for anyone that with your sharing there is a connection, of a registry, a recognition that, oh, that person created that and they had to do some traveling to get there. There's quite a distance between where I am and what I'm viewing that they're expressing. So
And you have to become a conversation then of desire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. Yeah, the desire to
not only be it, but send it forth.
yeah.
And you don't send it forth by preaching to people. You send it forth by being it.
Letting it just be. Letting it be and be seen.
And felt.
So our work, in addition to creating the pieces that we do and embodying them and living them, is the next part is also
all the consciousness.
The consciousness of it, and then how do you share it? That's another big different piece. How is this
and the
become
time you
shareable?
have? How do you find people that have that kind of time?
Yeah. So somehow or another, you came across this particular process podcast because there's something that you were looking for.
Part of it is it's built on a principality of acceleration and supporting that. So you can't have, everyone can't go through what we went through.
No.
It has got to be accelerated.
Yeah.
So that's when Imprensio pattern came into being and became the acceleration.
It's a primary vehicle
of our work.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to understand it all. You don't have to embody it all. You can imprint it within a second, and then you have it in your archive. Then you can start, your soul can start bringing it into its imprensio speed rate when it's needed.
And it truly will support your creativity.
So looking at the work, reading the work is another level. It's how many levels you want to take time for, but it will always accommodate your time speed that you have available. So in order to help the whole world, they have to be able to imprint it easy, and they have to be able to archive it, but they also have to be able to share it in their auric fields so that everyone in the world has that opportunity to imprint it. So it's got to be able to be imprensio and stay within the fields that actually accommodates this acceleration. So that's another level of the work of imprensio pattern. They have to be done in a way that they can imprint very quickly and deeply, and that is why they're very, very bright colors. They're the primary colors that imprint deeply and soundly and can archive very efficiently in the system.
That's key. That is
and
so
then
key.
Then also they connect with your soul, and your soul becomes the director and the one that directs those archives and how you utilize them.
It's really interesting
and that's part of the intention of the imprensio.
When as I was listening to you, and then I said that's key, imprensios are key, it reminded me of what we were tapping about, the EFT, the emotional field tapping. We were tapping today in one of the pages in last week's flip book that's on the website. The flip book 10, I think, is the one that talked about something, touch any key and all the doors will open. And I just now said, and that's key. And I was referencing the imprintio patterns. So touch into any one of the imprintio patterns and it will start opening doors at a rate speed that can accommodate
It's kind of
where
like
you are in your own
sesame.
creativity. Yeah. Yeah. So it's sovereign. It's sovereign to you. It recognizes your sovereignty. It recognizes that you are an individual. You are on a path of creativity
And
and
sovereignty.
discovery and sovereignty. But it will, so any of these imprintio patterns will support you in your creativity, but they will go at the pace that you desire, that you need, that you want. And that's part of the gift that's
And then
built
in your
into them
life,
that we wanted for people.
as things that are in the way dissolve, as a pattern helps that happen,
Mm-hmm.
then all at once you'll find the rate speed speeded up. And it's speeded up because you can assimilate what was in the way of that.
Yes.
And that's what's in the way of your dream. And
Yeah.
so as you assimilate the blockage, and then all at once you're in a new rate speed, and you're in a bigger dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a big piece
Huh.
of this podcast of process for today.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
down here
we'll-
at the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just having a really neat space with
Yeah,
you.
neat spaces. We just want to, we felt kind of tucked in. The car gives us kind of a feeling of sides, gives us a little safe space to be in. But we have the windows down and the sunlight and the ocean
And we're
out
right on
there.
the ocean.
And we just wanted to share this time with you because we realized we were in the middle of a process where we were at a point that we could speak it and share it with others. So thank you for joining us. Is there anything else we'd like to say?
No, that's
on this
really
one?
good.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this, we would appreciate you telling your kindred spirited friends that also happen to be creatives or someone that you feel might be benefited by this topic. So again, this is Robert.
Share it and get it moving. Thank you. This is Suzanne.
And we are Clarity, and you've listened to Clarity's Process Podcast.